Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Anaj Academy. The main aim of this lecture is to discuss about the analog communications, or it is called as the communication systems prelims questions of the ESE or IS electrical engineering in a very detailed manner. And if you like the content of our channel, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. So whenever we upload a new video, the direct notification comes on mobile. If any improvements here in our villages, then please do comment in the comment section. We will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. So why to waste more time? So let's get started. So now we are going to solve the 61st question. See the question here. The maximum deviation allowed in a frequency that modulation system is 100 kilohertz. Means they are given the delta f, which is 100 kilohertz. The modulating signal frequency is 10 kilohertz. Means the message signal frequency is 10 kilohertz. The bandwidth requirement as per the Carson's rule will be. So we need to find what is the bandwidth of the FM modulation when the delta f and also the FM is given. So we need to find what is the bandwidth by using the Carson's formula. So therefore, out of the four options, option A, which is 220 kilohertz, is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So by using the Carson's rule, we need to find what is the bandwidth of the FM modulation. The basic formula is the bandwidth for the FM modulation is 2 into delta f plus fm. So therefore beta is equal to delta f by fm. So therefore we can write delta f is equal to beta into fm. So substitute in place of delta beta into fm. So therefore this is also another formula. So these are the two formulas by which we need to calculate what is the bandwidth in the FM modulation. So where delta f is called as the maximum frequency deviation, in the question they are given it is 100 kilohertz, and fm is called as the message signal frequency or the modulating signal frequency. The value which is given in the question is 10 kilohertz, and beta is called as the modulation index of the FM modulation. So therefore by using those values, so we are going to use this formula because we know the value of delta f and also we know the value of the FM. So therefore blindly substitute those values so that we will get the bandwidth. So therefore bandwidth is equal to 2 into delta f is 100 kilohertz and FM is 10 kilohertz. So therefore 100 plus 10. So we can write it as 2 into 110 is equal to 220 kilohertz. So therefore finally the bandwidth of this FM modulation for the given delta f and FM is 220 kilohertz. So now we are going to solve the 62nd question. So the question here, in a frequency modulation system, the maximum frequency deviation allowed is 1000 hertz and the modulating signal frequency is 1 kilohertz. Determine the modulation index beta. So in the question they are given the maximum frequency deviation delta f, which is 1000 hertz, and the modulating signal frequency means fm is equal to 1 kilohertz. So we need to find what is the modulation index beta value we need to figure out. So out of the four options, option C, 1 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So the basic relation is going to relate the modulation index, maximum frequency deviation, and the message signal frequency or the modulating signal frequency is beta is equal to delta f by fm in the FM modulation. So therefore delta f is called as a maximum frequency deviation. In the question they are given it as 1000 hertz, and similarly fm is called as the message signal frequency or modulating signal frequency. The value which is given in the question is 1 kilohertz. So we need to find what is the modulation index. So beta is called as the modulation index. So we know the value of delta f and fm. So blindly substitute those values. So beta is equal to 1000 hertz by 1 kilohertz. So 1 kilohertz means 1000 hertz. So therefore 1000 hertz gets cancelled. So therefore the value is 1. The ratio is 1. So therefore beta is equal to 1. This is the correct solution of this question. So now we will solve the 63rd question. So the question here, with the increase in the transmission bandwidth, received signal power in AM and FM will respectively. So here in the question they are saying that suppose if the AM signal and also the FM signal, so at the receiver if the bandwidth is increased, then the receiving end power will, what will happen, whether it will increase or it is constant or whether it is decrease. That is what they are asking for the AM and also the FM. So the four options, option B, which is for the AM it will be remain same, and for the FM it is goes on increases, means the receiver power for the AM will remain constant and the receiver power for the FM will increase when the bandwidth at the receiving side increases. So let's solve this numerical. So now let us discuss for the first thing is AM modulation. So this is the standard equation for the AM modulating signal, which is Vc cos 2 pi fct plus MVc by 2 cos 2 pi of fc plus fm into t plus MVc by 2 cos of 2 pi of fc minus fm into t. This is a standard equation. So for this standard equation I am going to find what is the Fourier transform. So therefore here Vc by 2 delta of f minus fc plus delta of f plus fc. This is for Vc cos 2 pi fct, and this equation is for the mvc by 2 cos 2 pi into fc plus fm into t, and this is the equation for this one. So therefore finally we have written the Fourier transform of the AM modulating signal. So now we are going to draw this in the Fourier transform. In the frequency domain we are going to draw all these impulses. So therefore this is the vc by 2 f is equal to fc and delta is equal to minus fc. So this is for the first term, and this is for this one, the red samples, and this equation is for this blue one. So therefore this is the samples. So now I have drawn all the samples in the frequency domain. So this signal is going to given to the receiver. So let me assume this is the bandwidth. So let me assume this is the bandwidth of the receiver. So when the bandwidth increases, means at the receiver end, when the bandwidth increases, suppose this length is increases, this bandwidth is increases. So what's going to happen? Still the number of signals in this bandwidth is still the same. Means as the bandwidth is increases, the number of signals in this bandwidth is just 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 impulses are present. Even if the bandwidth is increases, still the number of samples in this bandwidth is still 3. So therefore we can conclude that as the bandwidth is increases at the receiving end of the AM modulating signal, still the power is going to same, because as the signals are constant, the power received at the receiving end is also same. So therefore we can finally conclude that in the AM modulation at the receiver end, if the bandwidth is increases, as the number of signals is still the same, even if the bandwidth is increases, so we can conclude that the power at the receiving end is also same. So this is the standard equation for the wideband FM signal, which is Vc into sigma n is equal to mass into plus m into Jn of beta cos 2 pi into Fc plus n into Fmt. See here, n is equal to from minus infinity to plus infinity. So therefore if you take the Fourier transform, suppose I am going to draw only for the positive frequencies but not the negative frequencies. If you see carefully, at n is equal to 0, because n is going to change from minus m to plus m, when n is equal to 0, we are going to get only Fc. So therefore at Fc we are going to have impulse which is Vc at n is equal to 0, means J0 beta by 2. By 2 we have taken the Fourier transform. And similarly for n is equal to 1, the frequency is Fc plus Fm. So Fc plus Fm, the impulse area is Vc J1 beta by 2. And similarly if n is equal to 2, so therefore Fc plus 2 Fm, and goes on. So because n is equal to plus infinity, means finally the last signal will be Fc plus infinity into Fm, because n is equal to plus infinity. And similarly here for n is equal to minus 1, means we are going to get Fc minus Fm. So at n is equal to minus 2 means Fc minus 2 Fm. When n is equal to infinity, when n is equal to minus infinity, we are going to get here Fc minus infinity Fm. So therefore this is a signal which you are going to send to the receiver. So when the receiver bandwidth, so let me assume this is the bandwidth. So let me assume this is the bandwidth. So this is the bandwidth, as the bandwidth increases, as the bandwidth size increases, the signals are also going to come inside. So this signal is going to come inside when we are going to increase the bandwidth. So as the bandwidth increases, the signals are going to come inside. So therefore we can conclude that as the bandwidth increases, the signals are going to increase. As the signal increases, each signal has some amount of power. So as the signals are increases, the power is also going to increase at the receiving end. So we can conclude that finally in the AM modulation, even when the bandwidth increases, the amount of signals are still the same, which is 3. So therefore we can conclude that in the AM always the receiving end power will be same, even in the bandwidth increases. But for the bandwidth if the bandwidth is increased for the FM modulation, as the signals are very high number, because they are going to present infinity manner. So therefore as the bandwidth increases, the impulses which are going to inside the bandwidth is also increases. As the signals are going to increases, the power is also at the receiving end is also going to increase. So finally what I am trying to say is, for the AM the power is remain constant, and for the FM the power is increases when the bandwidth is increases. So now we are going to solve the 64th question. See the question here. Assertion: the bandwidth of angle modulated signal is infinite. Reason: angle modulation of a carrier results in the generation of an infinite number of sidebands. So what are the 4 options? Option A, both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. So here assertion and reason is also correct, and reason is the correct explanation for the assertion. So let's solve this numerical. So before I tell you the solution of this one, let us discuss some of the important concepts here. So angle modulation. So the meaning of the angle modulation is nothing but here the carrier signal C of t. The carrier signal C of t is equal to Vc cos 2 pi fct. So therefore here this angle we are going to change. In the angle modulation we are going to change the angle of this carrier signal. So as the frequency is also changes, this carrier signal is also changes. Suppose when the 2 pi fct is also changes, so if you can vary the fc or whether you can vary the 2 pi fct. So therefore in the both manner, so if fc varies or 2 pi fct varies, then also the carrier signal is going to change. So in this both cases we are going to say it as a angle modulation, because we are going to change the angle of the carrier signal. So therefore this is called as only the frequency. If we are going to change only the frequency, then we say it as a frequency modulation, and if we are going to change the angle of the signal, then we are going to say it as a angle modulation. So if you see carefully here, this is the angle modulation. Angle modulation means, so in the both cases we are going to change the angle of the carrier signal. So therefore it is going to have two things, frequency modulation and phase modulation, because if you are going to change the frequency, then also angle is going to change, and if you are going to change phase means 2 pi fct, then also angle is going to change. So therefore because of these two reasons we are going to have a angle modulation of the carrier signal. So therefore these are the two things which are going to happen, which is frequency modulation and the phase modulation. This is the frequency and this is the phase. So therefore in the frequency there are two things, wideband FM and the narrowband FM. Here beta is greater than 1 and here beta is lesser than 1. And here also phase modulation, wideband phase modulation and the narrowband phase modulation. Here wideband phase modulation is beta is greater than 1 and here beta is lesser than 1. So if you see carefully, omega angular frequency is nothing but 2 pi f. So omega is equal to 2 pi f. So omega is equal to d theta by dt. So therefore theta is equal to integration of the omega dt. So therefore if you see carefully, as the frequency changes, omega changes. As the omega changes, theta is also changes. See, as the frequency changes, omega changes. As omega changes, theta is also changes. So we are going to change the angle of the carrier signal. Yes. By using these two things, the agenda of this is to change the angle of the carrier signal. So here, suppose let me take here S of t WFM. See, for the FM modulation signal, we are going to take one signal which is S of t wideband FM. This is the signal equation. This I have already told you in the previous example only. So if you see carefully here, Vc into sigma n is equal to minus into plus infinity Jn of beta cos 2 pi into Fc plus n FMT. This is the wideband FM. This is the wideband FM. This is the equation. So I have wrote the wideband FM equation. This is the standard equation. So for this equation, if you see carefully, n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So therefore I am going to find what are the frequencies which are present in this W band FM signal, which is Fc plus NFM. So Fc plus NFM, where n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So when n is equal to 0, I am going to get here Fc. So when n is equal to plus or minus 1, I am going to get this frequency. When n is equal to plus or minus 2, this is the frequency I am going to get. And when n is equal to plus infinity or minus infinity, this is the frequency I am going to get. So therefore, there are so many frequencies. Infinity frequencies are going to present in this W band FM. So therefore, if you see carefully, this is the carrier signal frequency, and these are called as the remaining, except the first signal. This is the carrier signal frequency. Except the first signal, remaining all are called as a sideband. So therefore, infinity sideband frequencies means infinity sidebands are also present. So therefore, we can conclude that all these frequencies are the sidebands except the first one. So therefore, the bandwidth is nothing but highest frequency minus lowest frequency. Here highest frequency is Fc plus infinity FM and the lowest frequency is Fc minus infinity FM. So therefore the bandwidth is equal to highest frequency minus lowest frequency. So highest frequency is Fc plus infinity FM and the lowest frequency is minus Fc minus infinity FM. So it is nothing but here 2 into infinity FM. So it is nothing but 2 into infinity is again infinity. So therefore bandwidth is equal to infinity. So therefore theoretically the bandwidth in FM modulation is infinity. So therefore the bandwidth is infinity. But by using the Carson's, we are going to make it as some finite value, that is into delta F plus FM. But here theoretically the bandwidth is infinity because there are a lot of frequencies. So therefore maximum frequency minus lowest frequency is nothing but infinity. So therefore finally what I am trying to say is bandwidth of angle modulated signal is infinity because angle modulation of carrier signal results in infinite number of sidebands. So if you are going to do the angle modulation of the carrier signal, then the standard equation has infinity frequencies. As infinity frequencies means there is an infinity bandwidth. So therefore, whenever you are doing the angle modulation of a carrier signal, we are going to get the infinity sidebands. Infinity sidebands means the bandwidth is infinity. So therefore, the assertion is also correct, and the reason is a correct explanation of the assertion. So the bandwidth of angle modulated signal is infinity. Because the bandwidth of angle modulated signal is infinity, because angle modulation of carrier signal results in infinite number of sidebands. As the number of sidebands are increases, the bandwidth is also increases to infinity, because there are infinity sidebands. Infinity sidebands means infinity bandwidth. So now we are going to solve the 65th question. See the question here. An angle modulated signal is expressed by f of t is equal to cos 2 into 10 to the power of 8 pi t plus 75 sin 2 into 10 to the power of 3 pi t. The peak frequency deviation of the carrier is then, means they are going to ask what is the delta f. Delta f is also called as a maximum frequency deviation, or it is also called as a peak frequency deviation. So delta f we need to figure out from the standard equation Fm. So what are the four options? Option C, 75 kilohertz is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the equation which is given in the question. This is called as a FM signal. So for this FM signal, we are going to write the standard equation. The standard equation of the FM signal is Vc cos of 2 pi fct plus beta into sin of 2 pi into fmt. So this is the standard equation. So now I am going to compare this equation with the standard equation, and I am going to get the parameter values. See, by comparing, we are going to get here Vc is equal to 1. And Fc is equal to 10 to the power of 8 Hz, and beta is equal to 75, and Fm is equal to 10 to the power of 3 Hz. So 10 to the power of 3 Hz we can write as 1 kilohertz, because 1 kilohertz is equal to 10 to the power of 3 Hz. So therefore we need to find what is the delta f. Delta f is also called as a maximum frequency deviation or peak frequency deviation we need to figure out. So we know the basic formula, beta is equal to delta f by fm. Beta is called as a modulation index, and delta f is called as a maximum frequency deviation or the peak frequency deviation, and fm is called as a message signal frequency or the modulating signal frequency. So from these three values we need to figure out what is delta f. So therefore delta f is equal to beta into fm. We know the value of beta, which is 75, and fm is 1 kilohertz. So 75 into 1 is nothing but 75 kilohertz. So therefore the maximum frequency deviation or the peak frequency deviation in the fm is 75 kilohertz. So this is the correct solution of this question. Now we are going to solve the 66th question. See the question here. An angle modulated signal is given by the s of t is equal to cos 2 pi into 2 into 10 to the power of 60 plus 30 into sin 150t plus 40 into cos 150t. So the maximum frequency and the phase deviations of s of t are. So the maximum frequency means the maximum frequency and the phase deviations means delta phi and the delta f we need to figure out. So maximum frequency and the phase deviations means delta f and the delta phi we need to figure out in this question for this signal s of t. So what are the four options? Option D, which is 7.5 kilohertz and 100 pi radians, is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the FM signal they are given in the question, which is, this is the equation. So for this equation we need to find what is the phase deviation, the maximum phase deviation and the maximum frequency deviation we need to figure out. See, the maximum phase deviation, the unit is radians, and the maximum frequency deviation is hertz. So these two things we need to figure out. So here, but if you see carefully, there is also one more formula here in the FM. The phase deviations is equal to beta. So here the phase deviation is equal to beta, means the beta is called as a modulation index. So you can find either delta phi or beta. So any of this, because both are equal, so therefore both are going to give the same result. So now I am going to find what is the value of beta. So therefore beta value is nothing but it is equal to phase deviation. So both have a unit of radians, and delta phi, the phase maximum frequency deviation, is hertz. So now this is the equation, right? So now I am going to multiply 2 pi inside. All throughout this I am going to multiply 2 pi inside. So therefore this is the thing I am going to get. Now I am going to compare this with the standard equation, which is Vc cos 2 pi fct plus beta or sin 2 pi fm1t plus beta 2 cos 2 pi fm2t. So if you see carefully, one thing is clear, there are two message signals. That is why they have two terms. If suppose there is only one term, then we are going to say it as a one message signal, but there are two terms, so therefore we can conclude that there are two message signals and one carrier signal. So therefore here, by comparing these two things, equations, so Vc is equal to 1 volt and Fc, so and Fc is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 6 hertz, and beta 1 is equal to 30 into 2 pi, and beta is equal to 40 into 2 pi, and here message signal FM1 and message signal FM2, both the frequencies are same, because it is 150, it is 150. So therefore FM1 is equal to FM2 is equal to 150 by 2 pi, because 2 pi is we are going to divide here. So message signal 1 frequency is equal to message signal 2 frequency is equal to 150 by 2 pi. And here we have to find what is the value of the beta. So beta is nothing but under root over beta 1 square plus beta 2 square. So therefore here we know the value of beta 1 and we also know the value of the beta 2. It is same as the modulation index. So for n signals, the net overall modulation index is root over each one individual modulation square and the sum. So same thing here also. There are two message signals, so therefore 2 modulation index square we need to do, and then we have to add and take the square root. So therefore we are going to get finally 100 pi radians. So 2 message signal means 2 modulation index. So therefore the overall modulation index is nothing but square root over beta 1 square plus beta 2 square. So it is going to get the 100 pi radians. So here this is nothing but delta phi, because delta phi is equal to beta in the frequency modulation or the angle modulation. So therefore we can conclude that the maximum phase deviation is 100 pi radians, and we need to find what is the delta f. So beta is equal to delta f by fm max. Now here if there is only one message signal means that message signal we need to take here. Suppose if there are two message signals means out of those two message signals which message signal has maximum frequency, that message signal frequency we need to take. So therefore delta f is equal to beta into fm max. So beta we know which is 100 pi, and fm max because both the signals have same frequency, so therefore we can take any one. So but if there are different frequencies, if the message signal 1 and 2 if they have different frequencies, we need to take only the maximum value of these message signals. So therefore here they both are same, so therefore we can take here 150 by 2 pi, and if you solve this one we are going to get 7500 hertz. It is nothing but 7.5 kilohertz. So 7.5 kilohertz. So frequency deviation is 7.5 kilohertz. So finally I can conclude that the maximum phase deviation is equal to beta is equal to 100 pi radians, and the maximum frequency deviation is 7.5 kilohertz. So now we are going to solve the 67th question. See the question here. Let m of t is equal to, this is a term just they are given, it is be the message signal, and c of t, the term is that one they are given. So be the carrier. So they are given the message signal and the carrier signal. So c of t and m of t are used to generate an FM signal. So because of these two signals we are going to generate the FM signal. If the peak frequency deviation of the generated FM signal is 3 times the transmission bandwidth of the AM signal. See, if the peak frequency deviation is of the generated FM signal is 3 times the transmission bandwidth of the AM signal, means the delta f is equal to 3 times the bandwidth of the AM signal. So therefore now then the coefficient of that term, so cos 2 pi into 1008 into 10 to the power of 3d in the FM signal in terms of Bessel coefficients. So they have given the delta f is equal to 3 times the bandwidth of the AM signal. Then we need to find what is the coefficient of that term we need to figure out, which is cos 2 pi into 1008 into 10 to the power of 3t. So that coefficient value we need to figure out in terms of Bessel functions. So therefore out of the 4 options, option D is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So the message signal, then in the question they are given, this is the message signal. So from this we know which is Vm cos 2 pi fmt, the standard equation, Vm 2 pi fmt. So therefore Vm is equal to 1 volt and Fm is equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 3 hertz. So these two things we can get from this equation. And carrier signal they are given which is 5 cos of 2 pi into 10 to the power of 60. So we know generally which is Vc into cos 2 pi fct. So therefore Fc is equal to 10 to the power of 6 hertz, and so 10 to the power of 6 hertz we can write as 1000 kilohertz. So therefore Vc is equal to 5. So Vc is equal to 5. So here in the question they are given the bandwidth of the AM signal. The bandwidth of the AM signal is nothing but twice the maximum of the message signal frequencies. So there is only one message signal. So therefore twice the message signal frequency. So 2 into FM. In the question they also given that the condition is the maximum frequency deviation is equal to 3 times the bandwidth of the AM signal. So maximum frequency deviation in the FM is delta f. So 3 times the bandwidth of the AM signal. So 3 into the bandwidth of the AM signal is 2 into FM. So 2 into FM. So therefore delta f is equal to 6 into FM. So therefore this is the first equation. But in the FM we know which is the modulation index is equal to delta f by Fm. So therefore delta f is equal to beta into Fm. So therefore if you see carefully, if you compare this first and second equations, so therefore we can conclude that beta is equal to 6. So therefore the modulation index in the Fm is beta is equal to 6. So this is a standard DC. M of t is equal to Vm cos 2 pi fmt and C of t is equal to Vc cos 2 pi fct. So these are the standard representation. So if these two message signal and carrier signal, then we are going to get the S of t wideband FM signal, which is Vc into sigma n is equal to massive to plus mt Jn of beta cos 2 pi into Fc plus n fmt. See, in the question they asked what is the coefficient of this one. So they are asking what is the coefficient of this term. They are asking. This is what is the coefficient of this term they are asking here. So therefore in terms of the Bessel coefficient, this is called as a Jn of beta is called as a Bessel coefficient. So therefore if you see carefully, I am going to take here only one value, means only one value I am going to take here. So therefore Vc into, so only one term I am going to take here. So therefore Vc into Jn of beta into cos 2 pi into Fc plus n Fm into t. So we know the value of Fc, which is 1000 kilohertz, and Fm is equal to 2 kilohertz. So therefore 1000 plus n into 2 as the kilohertz, right? So therefore outside 10 to the power of 3 hertz into t. But we need what is the coefficient of the cos 2 pi into 1008 into 10 to the power of 3t. So if you see carefully, when n is equal to 4, then only 4 to the 8, then only I am going to get here this value. So therefore when n is equal to 4, when I am going to substitute n is equal to 4, I am going to get this term. So therefore when n is equal to 4, I am going to substitute here n is equal to 4. So Vc into, as n is 4, so J4 of beta. So this is the coefficient, this is the coefficient of the cos 2 pi into 1008 into 10 to the power of 3t. So therefore this is a only one term out of n is equal to minus into plus infinity. At n is equal to 4, I am going to get this term. So therefore the coefficient is Vc j as n is equal to 4, j for beta. So therefore the coefficient is Vc j for beta. We know the value of Vc, which is 5 volt. So therefore 5 into J4 of beta value is 6. So therefore this is the coefficient. This is the coefficient of this term. So this is the coefficient in terms of the Bessel coefficient. This is called as a Bessel coefficient, and this overall is the coefficient of this cos term. So now we are going to solve the 68th question. See the question here. In an FM system, the deviation is 4 kilohertz when the moderating voltage is 3 volt and the moderating frequency is 400 hertz. So in the question they are given the delta F is equal to 4 kilohertz and the moderating voltage means here Vm is equal to 3 volt and the moderating frequency means Fm is equal to 400 hertz. If the moderating frequency increases to 1000 hertz and its amplitude to 5 volt, then the modulation index will be. So therefore they are asking if the modulation, if the amplitude, if the modulated signal amplitude and the modulated signal frequency, if they are going to change, what is the modulation index they are going to ask. So out of the 4 options, option C, the overall modulation index is going to decrease. So let's solve this numerical. So in the question they are given that when the frequency deviation is 4 kilohertz and the peak value of the voltage signal is, message signal is 3 volt and the message signal frequency is 400 hertz. So if this message signal frequency changes from 400 hertz to 1000 hertz with a peak value from 3 volt to 5 volt, then what is the change in the modulation index we need to figure out. So this is the first case I am going to take, and this is the second case. So these are the values they are given in the question. This value, and this value. So based on these values, we need to find what is the modulation index in the first case and also modulation index in the second case, and then we need to figure out whether it is going to increase or decrease. We need to figure out. So therefore the modulation index basic formula is delta F by Fm. So therefore for the first case we are going to use, so therefore I am going to use that one value, the first case. So therefore delta F1 is equal to frequency deviation in the first case is 4000 hertz. So 4 kilohertz is nothing but 4000 hertz, and the message signal frequency or the modulating signal frequency in the first case is 400 hertz. So 4000 by 400 is nothing but 10. Another formula which is delta F is equal to Kf into Vm, where Kf is called as a constant. So therefore Kf is called as a constant. So therefore Kf is equal to delta F by Vm. So we know the value of delta F, which is 4000, means in the first case, right? So first case. So delta F1 is nothing but 4000 hertz and Vm1 is equal to 3 volt. So therefore 4000 by 3 is the value. So therefore if you see always the Kf value is always remain constant. No matter whatever the variables, always the Kf is a constant value, which is Kf is equal to delta F1 by Vm1 is equal to delta F2 by Vm2, means if the values they may vary but the Kf is always constant. So therefore here Fm2 is 1000 hertz and Vm2 is equal to 5 volt. So now we need to find what is the beta modulation index for the second case. So therefore this is I am going to use that as 2. So this thing we need to figure out. So we know the value of the FM2, but we don't know what is the value of the delta F2, frequency deviation in the second case. So therefore this we are going to get here. See, I've already told you the Kf is always constant. So therefore delta F1 by Vm1 is equal to delta F2 by Vm2. This is the only thing which is constant, and remaining all variables are going to vary. So therefore we know the value of the Kf from the previous case, which is 4000 by 3. So for the second value we need to figure out. So delta F2 by Vm2 value, which is 5. So therefore from this data delta F2 is equal to 20,000 by 3. So we know the value of delta F2 and we also know the FM2. So therefore 20,000 by 3 by FM2 is 1000 hertz. So therefore 1000. So if we solve this one, we are going to get 6.66. So the modulation index in the first case is 10 and the modulation index in the second case is 6.66. So therefore we can conclude that the modulation index is decreased. So out of this, only thing what I am trying to say is, finally the Kf value is always remains constant. No matter whatever the variables, the remaining variables, if they may vary, but the Kf is only the constant term. So based on this only, this Kf only, so it is constant in the first case and the second case. From this only we have solved this numerical. So now we are going to solve the 16th question. See the question here. A frequency modulated voltage wave is given by this is the equation. This is a voltage signal. The carrier frequency and the maximum deviation of the signal are respectively. So we need to find what is the frequency, means the carrier frequency means FC, and the maximum deviation means the maximum frequency deviation we need to find. Delta F we need to figure out. So from this FM signal. So what are the four options? Option B is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the FM signal they are given in the question. So now we are going to compare with the standard equation. This is the standard equation of the FM signal, which is, we see here it can be sine or cos. No need to worry. The only thing we need to take care is inside term. So therefore this is the standard equation with respect to FM. So if you see carefully, now I am going to compare these two equations. So therefore VC is equal to 10 and FC is equal to 10 to the power of 8 and beta is equal to 5 and FM is equal to 200 hertz. So therefore VC is equal to 10 volt and FC is equal to 10 to the power of 8 hertz. We can write it as 100 megahertz also, because 1 megahertz is equal to 10 to the power of 6 hertz and message signal frequency is 200 hertz and beta is equal to 5. So in this question we need to find what is the carrier frequency and the maximum frequency deviation we need to figure out. So therefore we know the value of frequency. Carrier frequency is 100 megahertz. So we need to find what is the delta F. So we know the basic relation, beta is equal to delta F by FM, but we need the value of delta F. So therefore delta F is equal to beta into FM. We know the value of beta, which is 5 and FM is 200 hertz. So if you do the multiplication, we are going to get 1000 hertz. 1000 hertz is nothing but 1 kilohertz. So therefore the maximum frequency deviation of FM signal is 1 kilohertz. So therefore the carrier signal frequency is 100 megahertz and the maximum frequency deviation is 1 kilohertz. So therefore this is the correct solution of this question. So now we are going to solve the last question of this lecture, 70th question. See the question here. An angle modulated signal with carrier frequency omega c is equal to 2.10 to the power of 5 is described by the equation. So that is the angle modulated signal. So the deviation ratio is approximately equal to. So from this omega c and this equation we need to find what is the deviation ratio we need to figure out. So what are the four options? Option C, 12 is the correct solution of this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is a signal they are given the question. So for this signal we are going to compare with the standard signal, which is Vc cos omega ct plus beta 1 sin 2 pi fm m1 t plus beta 2 sin 2 pi fm 2 t. So if there are three terms here, the first term is always carrier and the remaining two signals are there. Means if there are two signals, means two message signals are present. If there is only one, means only one message signal. But here there are two message signals. So from this we need to find what is the deviation ratio we need to figure out. So here if you see, compare these two equations, we are going to get Vc is equal to 10 volt and here beta 1 is equal to 5 and beta 2 is equal to 10 and fm1 is equal to 3000 by 2 pi and fm2 is equal to 2000 pi by 2 pi. So the value of the omega c is 2 pi into 10 to the power of 5. So therefore we can conclude that fc, the carrier frequency, is 10 to the power of 5 hertz. So therefore this is the values we are going to get by comparison. So now we need to find what is the deviation ratio. The exact formula of the deviation ratio is beta 1 fm1 plus beta 2 fm2 by a maximum value of the message signal frequencies fm1 comma fm2. So out of these two message signals frequencies, only the maximum frequency message signal frequency we need to take. So beta 1, which is 5, and fm1, which is 3000 by 2 pi. So beta 2 is 10 and fm2 is 2000 pi by 2 pi. So this is the thing I have written. So now these are the two message signals, right? These are the two message signals. So out of this, only the maximum value we need to take. So if you see carefully, 2 pi, 2 pi. denominator is same. So therefore, whichever the numerator higher, that will be the maximum. So therefore, 2000 pi is always greater than the 3000. So therefore, this frequency we need to take. So therefore, which is 2000 pi by 2 pi. And if you solve this everything, we are going to get exactly 12.388. So nearly approximately the value is, the deviation ratio is nearly equal to 12. But if you want a relation, if you want to know the relation, there is also another formula, which is the deviation ratio. It is going to lie between the root over beta 1 square plus beta 2 square less than beta 1 plus beta 2. So this is the relation. It is not going to give the exact value. It is going to just give a rough idea. The value is going to lie in this range. So therefore here, see, the beta 1 value is 5 and beta 2 is 10. So if you do the square of everything, and if you substitute here, we are going to get here 11, and then here we are going to get 15. So therefore, always the division ratio is going to lie between 11 to 15. Yes, our answer is also got 12. So it is going to lie between 11 and 15. So therefore, we can conclude that this is the exact formula, but this is going to give a just rough relation. So by using the elimination from the options also, we can solve this one in a very, but if you want to the exact manner, then this is the formula. But if you want to know rough idea by eliminating the options, so this is the rough idea, but this is the exact formula. So by this lecture, we have successfully completed the 70 questions, which are the previous year questions of the analog communications of or communication systems of the IES or ESC electrical engineering in a very, very detailed manner. And if you like the content of our channel, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. So whenever we upload a new video, the direct notification comes to mobile. If any improvements needed in our lectures, then please do comment in the comment section. We will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Keep smiling, take care, and bye bye.